For our cup of coffee today, we have an encounter by Greenjay. Greenjay writes, so here goes with the monk story. I think I was about 7 years old when this happened. I woke up one night and standing in the corner of my room was the figure of a monk who was the classic medieval type with robes made of sackcloth, a rope tied around its waist with the hood up, but it had no face as far as I could tell. I stared for a few seconds in disbelief, then became overcome and frozen with fear. I turned my head to look away from it and looked up at the ceiling. Directly above me, there were 3 or 4 fairies flying in a circle above my head. They didn't look solid, but were made of light. I think it was the light from the fairies that had made the monk visible to me in the dark, though there could have been some light from the street lights outside. As I stared at the fairies, one seemed to notice that I was looking at them. This one stopped flying and was looking back at me as the others continued. When I realized not only could I see the fairies, but that they could see me also, it terrified me and sent me ducking under the covers. When I had the DMT experience many years later, this experience was part of it. I remember seeing the monk again, and it was very close to me, so close that I felt the need to step back from it. I remember seeing it in such detail that I noticed the texture of the fabric of the robes it was wearing. I'm not sure at all, but I think it might have been myself in a previous or parallel existence. Like I'd seen my arm from the apples in the toy chest in that other experience. Maybe I was visiting myself from the past this time. And I had the following questions for Greenjay about the fairies. I asked if he was able to see details about the fairies, such as faces, clothing, wings, or if they were just little balls of light. I also asked if they were different colors and what size they were. And Greenjay was kind enough to respond, and he said, as I remember, they looked like tiny people with wings and had features much like Tinker Bell in the cartoons. It was when the one made eye contact that freaked me out. The color I can't be sure of, but I think it was a bluish light. Thank you, Greenjay. That is absolutely a fascinating story on both things that, as far as seeing the actual fairies, and that's something that there's been lots of reports about that over the years. And then you had the one thing where they supposedly had the fairy photographs, which unfortunately ended up, I think that was a ruse of some kind. But you actually got to see the fairies. So that's an absolutely fascinating thing. And as far as the medieval monk, that could be kind of intimidating. And if you've never seen the movie The Name of the Rose with Sean Connery, please look for that. It's got to be somewhere available online, because that's one of my favorite movies. And I'm also a huge fan of the Gregorian chants. So, if the monk had sung, it would be a little bit easier to deal with. But as far as just monks standing in the corner, yeah, no, I'd rather not. I don't want anything standing in the corner other than a bow staff. That's about it. Greenjay, thank you so much for sharing these experiences. And if you've got an experience that's supernatural, paranormal, if you've had fairy sightings, if you've had monk sightings, Bigfoot, UFOs, aliens, skinwalkers, anything like that. And if you just need someone to listen to you, hey, send me an email, a cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. You all have a beautiful, blessed day.